Night in Cleveland gave the Celtics a 22-point lead. Then D. Wade, not that D. Wade, actually Dean Wade of the Cavaliers, scored 23 points, and his follow dunk gave Cleveland a lead, 105-104 with 19 seconds left. In the end, very weirdly, a wrong call that was overturned actually cost the Celtics the chance to pull it out. So, Keyshawn, your biggest takeaway from this weird, wild game?
Well, it was weird and it was wild, but it also tells me a little bit about the Celtics.
Yeah.
That I go back to when the Lakers beat them without LeBron and AD. And now the Cavs beat them without Donovan Mitchell, without Mobley having a great game.
And no Max Strus.
And no Max Strus at all in these situations. They're shorthanded. But then when you just mentioned, you talked about Dean Wade stepping up. He was 8 of 11. He was 6 of 9 from 3.
Yeah.
You know, he totaled 8 boards, 23 points. But then you also look at Jared Allen, who was 9 of 18, 12 total boards and 20-plus points. But then second shot attempts, the defensive rebounding for Cleveland at 34, that tells me right then and there the second shot attempts were not happening for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the Celtics just seemed to play, even though they were up 23 at one point in the fourth quarter.
22, yeah.
22 at one point in the fourth quarter. It seemed to me that they played, I don't want to say down to competition, because Cleveland is sitting in the third spot, which they probably are the third best team, depending on who you're asking, Milwaukee or Boston, Milwaukee, who you're asking about the East. But they're shorthanded. And now all of a sudden you look up, and this should have been an easy win for Boston, but instead it's a loss. And that, it tells me more about Boston more so than it does anything about Cleveland.
Okay, so I'm going to toss this game out because the immortal Dean Wade out of Kansas State, undrafted, in the previous 8 games had scored a grand total of 14 points, and then he scores 23 points in the last 9 minutes. Will that ever happen again in his career? Almost certainly not.
Probably not.
Yeah, okay, God bless him. But he had one of those nights. It's like the Max Strus night we talked about against Dallas.
He's hitting the threes.
Yeah, but he's just bombing. He hits 5 threes in the fourth quarter. And the 5th one, as you recall, was from beyond half court that walked off the game. Okay, it's almost like history repeated, except this time it was D. Wade as in Dean Wade. So if you're going to make 5 three-point shots and score 23 points, including a follow dunk with 19 seconds left where you're out of your mind. He is 6'9", but he's not that, obviously that guy. They're shorthanded. He has the game of his life. I'm pretty sure, I'll go on record, he'll never have a game in the... He's never had a game in his professional life and will never have another game in his professional life like those 23 in the last 9 minutes of a game you're down 22 in. So it took that aberration, that outlier, that off-the-charts performance by him to doom the Celtics. But my problem starts with Jason Tatum. And to his credit, he took full blame for it. Remember, from that point, he made that putback to give them a 22-point lead. He missed all 9 shots the rest of the way. Well, if you're in the MVP conversation and you are the leader and the star of this team, and he is, obviously, and you are by far the best team because you've got games where you've blown, what do they have, 3 50-point blowouts this year. You have to make a couple of shots because all it would have taken from Jason Tatum was a couple of shots, a 3 here or there, a putback dunk.
So you putting him in the LeBron category, though? You always trying to put LeBron.
Well, I mean, if you're 0 for 9 down the stretch.
You know, it happens, though.
Okay, but
But it happens. Okay. Sometimes you just get into a funk and the shots don't fall.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you said about Dean Allen.
Dean Wade.
I mean, Dean Wade. Dean Allen. Who the hell's Dean Allen?
Grayson Allen. He made 6 straight threes.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But if you said that about him, looking at his career and saying that'll never happen in his career again, I doubt that this would happen in Jason Tatum's career again.
Although he is weird like this, he will have those kind of nights. I told you this yesterday because I think they're going to win the East just because I think they're deeper and better than Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's playing better.
They are.
And Dan Lillard's
starting to figure it out. I got it.
Dame's starting to understand.
Yeah, okay. It's Doc. We both love Doc, but don't let Doc get a 3-1 lead on you in the playoffs because you're in position A, you're in the catbird seat. But the point is, I still think Boston is going to win the East, but I got the Lakers winning the West. I still think they're going to rise and shine starting tonight against Sacramento. By the way, Sacramento's beaten you 6 of the last 7 times, but we'll talk about that a little later in the show. But the point is, let's do a hypothetical LA-Boston matchup in the finals. Networks would love that, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, everybody would love that.
That would work. Everybody would love that.
Yeah.
In big games, in both conference championship games and NBA Finals games, Jason, as much as I like, he's such a great kid. He's still a kid to me. But he has the capability of those 1-for-12s and 1-for-9s in the fourth quarter. It's just part of his DNA.
Yes.
But I'm not saying
But my point is,
he doesn't do it every night.
Never miss 9 straight shots in the late fourth quarter in his career again.
I would hope not.
And then
I will buy that.
It goes to the conversation about the playoffs, and you brought up his playoff struggles.
Yeah, he's had some major
He has had some major playoff struggles, especially the year that they went to the finals. He had some major playoff struggles. But again...
So did Jalen.
But again, it happens, Skip. And sometimes it happens, and then all of a sudden, you turn the switch. Everybody's not Michael Jordan. You want to make everybody Michael Jordan, or the standard is Michael Jordan. It does not work like that.
No, I don't. Again, you haven't been part of this, but for years and years, all I heard was that LeBron's better than Michael Jordan. Well, now I got to put Jordan in the conversation with LeBron. If you think LeBron's better than Michael Jordan, we're going to talk about Michael Jordan. But nobody ever said Jason Tatum's better than Michael Jordan, right?
No.
No, nobody's saying that.
He was the next Kobe.
But he has been in the MVP. He was. Well, he was Kobe's protege. I mean, Kobe took him under his wing and taught him.
So the conversation was he's going to be the next Kobe.
Yeah, okay. And
Kobe, early in his career, struggled in the playoffs.
Well, once he did.
Well, I mean, obviously the air ball situation, but I mean, early in his career, he did.
When he was like 18, right?
No matter the age, he was a professional.
Okay, I got it. Jason Tatum is arriving before your very eyes, and it just shocked me that he would be that bad that late in a game that they should have cakewalked with because there's no Donovan Mitchell. If you told me Donovan Mitchell had scored 23 points in the last 9 minutes, I'd say, oh, you got me. But it was, no, it was the way.
But you or they probably, Mazzulla and company probably wasn't focused in on him, thinking he was getting ready to knock down the shots that he was knocking down to score the points that he was scoring until it started happening live. And at that point, it's too late to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
It's almost like leaving me wide. He ain't going to hit that shot. Just leave me wide open out there and see if I can hit it. Oh, he hit it. Leave him wide open again. Oh, he hit it.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit it. Now he's 6'9". He driving to the cup. He's 6'9". He already at the rim.
He was. Okay, so I still think Boston has by far the best defense in pro basketball. They've shown it all year long. And by the way, the silver lining to this is the final score is 105-104. So it wasn't like they ran you out of the building.
No, they didn't run them out of the building, but they had a 22-point collapse.
They did.
So if you close that gap and you look at, I don't even know, what did they score down the stretch, Boston? What was their...
What? Would they score in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, in the fourth quarter.
I'm not sure. I don't have it.
Yeah, so when you look at that, when you look at that fourth quarter and the points that they scored, 17 points in the fourth quarter compared to 34 for the Cavs, they walked them down. So it wasn't like they scored 34 and they scored 34, because if that was the case, then Boston wins the game.
Absolutely.
But that wasn't the case. They didn't get the second shot attempts, as I said before.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden, they cleaning the defensive glass. They 34 defensive rebounds. That means you're not getting second shot attempts.
Okay. And then I know Celtic Nation, because I saw it all over Twitter last night, was outraged over the way the final play was officiated, if we could see it quickly, because Jason Tatum has the ball. I thought he got away with a push-off, so it's going to come to Jason. Jason, that's a push-off to me. You could have called that. Then
he can't call that.
I don't know.
No, he was low and tight. He was low and tight. You can't call that.
Okay, so
I'm gonna call that as a foul right there.
They initially called it as a foul.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that as a foul.
and Darius Garland out of Vanderbilt University did not touch him with his hand because it got challenged.
But what the landing spot though?
Okay,
It's the landing spot,
you can
Skip.
do landing spot, but they
Jason
said
did kick his
they
leg
said
out.
Jason kicked his
Yeah,
leg
he kicked
out.
his leg
and
out.
The contact was
He
caused by the kick out.
He kicked his leg out.
Okay, but Darius does not touch him face or body with the hand. So the point was, if you see the end of the play, if there's no call on this play, it looks like Boston could just put the ball back in and win the game because they get the offensive board. Okay, so
Well, they corrected it though.
I know, but think about it. If they don't call anything on the play, Boston wins the game because they got.
But you got to call something.
Okay, well, you don't have to.
Why
you
not?
just let them play for the last play of the game.
Yeah, but it looked like he closed in on him and hit him in the face.
Remember,
he kicked his leg out.
Okay, remember, the point was there was no foul. They reviewed it carefully and said there's no foul committed on the play, even though you could have called Jason for extending his left arm. If you want to let it go, that's fine. You could call Jason for extending his leg into Darius Garland, but I'm good.
Extending my leg because I can't come straight down.
Okay,
because he's in my spot.
Okay, but that was the only contact upon further review that they found.
I understand.
Okay, so you can say, weirdly, the Celtics got robbed because they did call a foul that shouldn't have been called.
Even if they did get robbed, they squandered a 22-point lead.
That's all you need to remember.
They squandered a 22-point lead. Even if they'd have won by 1 point.
I'm totally with you on that.
Even if they'd have won by 1, Skip.
Yeah.
They allowed Cleveland short-handed to come back and close the gap and win the game with a bunch of role players.
Yeah.
Except Darius Garland.
Okay, there you go.
Because Mobley didn't have a great game.
No, he did not. Jared Allen's pretty good. He had a big game.
Yeah, he had a big game. But,
and as you know, Cleveland, when they're healthy and full, they're a handful, man. They got a squad. Okay, so I don't know how closely you watched Boston last year, but they had so many growing pains last year. They
lost.
A
new coach.
Yeah, they had a new coach, but
they
lost.
Inserted into the lineup.
They lost
inserted
3 times to Orlando last year. They lost twice to Orlando and Boston.
There was no adjustments being made.
Yeah.
You got a new coach.
Yep.
At the start of the season, hey, you the coach now.
That was it.
And he's trying to learn on the fly.
It was literally, hey, you're the coach.
Yeah, you're the coach now. Learning on the fly.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
All right.
And they still advanced. What did they go to?
Conference.
Was it the conference final? Yeah, they still got to the conference final.
Yeah.
So, it's like the Lakers. They got to the Western Conference, and so did the Celtics.
Okay.
Although they didn't beat Miami.
Yep. There you go. All right. I'm excited.